Hello everyone, my name is Craig and welcome back to the channel, and this is a video review of some combat blasters that I found at Five Below while I was shopping. So some low cost of that. We're also going to test out their hero darts. Is it as good as Nerf blasters? We're about to find out. Let's get into an unboxing. Let's see what we can unbox. Bit of overkill for an unboxing. Ouch. Included with what they call the Hero Covert Team Blaster is the blaster itself and 4 orange colored darts. Now let's unbox this one, what they call the Alpha Team. Alpha Team 1. Ain't no way this thing gonna get it. What the heck? Included with the Alpha Team set, whatever, is the Alpha Team blaster and 4 green colored darts. So I'll start off with the Covert Op blaster first. We'll do an external overview of that. Starting up at the front, there is no end strike barrel lug. This is not a Nerf brand blaster. Getting up front is some fake fake sight thingy in my bobber. Not going to help you aim really at all. Getting up front is a fake Picatinny style rail. This will not hold attachments at all. I think that's probably the thing with these hero blasters. Getting down to the back, this blaster is spring powered. This is the priming handle, this orange chunk here. To prime, you'll do that. Prime weight is in line-ish with other Nerf blasters on the market. It's pretty light, but doesn't really remind me much of like a Nerf draw weight or like Nerf slide that you would normally cock back, but it's pretty light. And then getting down to the grip is fairly proportional, a little bit comfortable, but I said that there's a bit proportional, but this just feels cramped. I don't like this grip really at all, and I don't know what it is. Actually, maybe it's not proportional now that I'm feeling it a little bit more. It needed a little bit more with it, but it does have these little grooves in here that your fingers can rest in there, making for it a pretty comfortable hold for it. The trigger, I don't like the feel of this trigger. It has like some jutted pieces of plastic out here with it, but trigger pull is pretty smooth with it. This blaster does not have slam fire. It's a single shot blaster, but yeah. But getting up to the sides here on each side for full ambi-bro is dart storage. It can hold 1 extra dart in the side like this, and same thing goes for really goes for any built-in dart storage thing on the blaster. I don't trust it. I would not recommend it. You'll probably damage, crimp your darts, whatever with that. But that's all that you have to do. You just simply front load, you pull it back, and you're ready to fire once. That is the Covert Team Blaster. Getting to the Alpha Team Blaster, yeah, starting up front, no end strike barrel lug. It's simply front load. You do that. Capacity of this blaster is 1. Nothing up top really at all. It's just a big old cosmetic shell. This blaster is spring powered. This is the priming handle here, or at least I think it is. Okay, priming handles back there. As you can tell, it's quite a struggle, and it's very finicky as to how you prime it with it, but you prime back and you're ready to shoot once. This blaster obviously does not have slam fire. The grip is way too small for this blaster. This reminds me of the Menace, a lot, the X-Shot Menace. I didn't like the grip on this one. This is just miniature and tiny with it. The trigger, I could barely fit my finger on there. My trigger, my finger is like 3 times the size of this trigger. It's not very comfortable at all. I don't like any of this, but the trigger pull is pretty smooth, I guess. If you want to say that that's a smooth trigger pull, I don't think that it's smooth if I can't fit my hand on the trigger well enough for that. I'm mainly clipping the bottom piece of the trigger down here, but it works fine with it, and that's all I have to go over with this blaster. Yeah, I don't really like it too much, but you just simply front load. You figure out how to prime this back to where it stays like that, and then you're ready to fire. So giving a brief overview of these hero darts compared to something like a Nerf Elite Dart. First off, the dimensions are pretty much the same as Nerf Elite Darts, and these blasters both are compatible with Nerf Elite Darts and other darts. I might not have stated that in each individual one, but I'll state it here. This dart feels like a heavier projectile than the Nerf Elite Dart, only very slightly with it. I've done a little bit of testing. These ones seem to have pretty low velocities compared to this. I don't have a chronograph to really measure it. I can't wait to try. But these ones also have hang on, but sec, I just realized I picked up another hero dart. But these ones have a little bit harder heads than the Nerf Elite Darts, but it's not like FDJ type of heads. It's like somewhere in between the head of the Elite Dart and something like an Emosting Dart with the FDJ tip. FDJ tip, it's somewhere in between, but it does still have that little small air hole in the middle of it. But I'd done a little bit of testing of it. It doesn't seem like that there's too much of a difference from Elite Darts, besides that you're probably going to get more velocity out of this, and you'll see it in the firing demo. Let's get into it. Starting with the Covert Team Blaster with the included orange hero darts. Some more hero darts. Tactical shooting skills not included. Switching over to Nerf Elite Darts. Now to the Alpha Team Blaster with the included hero darts. Ooh. Now for some Nerf Elite Darts. So firing analysis and conclusion of these hero blasters. Starting off with the Covert Blaster. Fired fairly well, no jams or malfunctions with it. Velocity was not really there with either one. I did get the greater velocity, I could tell just by the eye, out of Nerf Elite Darts. I'll talk about that here in a bit compared to the hero darts. But it did take everything that I fed through it and fired decently well. At 5 feet, when you see the velocity at that noticeable of a difference, yikes. But yeah, for this blaster, as far as firing went, alright. This blaster, the hero darts were noticeably slow. And just, at least they were somewhat consistent with that one. Nerf Elite Dart shot at a higher velocity, but I could tell was still a slower one. I believe this blaster, the Alpha Team Blaster, shoots slower than this one, as far as what I could tell from my testing with it. I don't have a chronograph, so I can't really tell much with that, but given the testing and the information presented, I believe this blaster does shoot slower than this blaster with it. But it also fired pretty well with it. Let's get into my thoughts on the dart. Actually, let's not. Let's get into my thoughts on each of the blasters first, then we'll worry about the projectiles. Blasters on this one, the Covert Dart Blaster here by the Hero series. This is an interesting series. I saw this at Find Below. It just be like, ooh, off-brand Nerf blaster. I'm gonna see how really off-brand it is, and yeah, it's definitely off-brand. I just don't. I feel like that there's just something holding this back from being decent. This could work as an alright backup blaster. I'd still think a Jolt is more reliable than this blaster, and I think has a little bit more velocity than this blaster does with it. I just think the ergonomics are alright. I mean, it holds well as alright. I just think that a little bit more to the grip would have been alright. Maybe a slightly bigger and different type of trigger, and you probably could have had a solid backup blaster, but I still think that this fails the marks with it. But it's definitely the better of the two blasters that I have it. And for if this whole Hero combat thing is an entire series, not a bad introduction to this type of thing. So if you're looking for a cheapo depot blaster, like this was probably like, what, $5? Yeah, about, they were both $5. Yeah, they were about $5. It pretty much shot $5 worth. That was basically the quality of this blaster. I know Nerf blasters are higher end with it, so I wasn't expecting too much coming into this one. But I'm impressed by how it performed on this one. I thought that this was going to be an absolute crap blaster, or it was going to blow me away. It's going to be either or, and it's sitting somewhere in between. I'm impressed that it's not an absolute crab blaster, but also I've seen better out of things like Nerf. So I'd pretty much stay away from blasters like these, but very interesting introduction with this one. And this blaster, I can give a pass to. And you could, if you chop off these ammo holders here, you could actually put this in a holster with this one. And if you really wanted this as a dedicated backup, you probably could do it. It has the form factor for it. So definitely some good things going for it, but unfortunately a whole lot of bad going for it as well. And unfortunately, that's just the series with it. That's a Covert blaster. Getting to the Alpha Team blaster with this one, my opinion on this one, I'm going to say it's more negative. Oh, I meant to say opinion on this one. I'm going to say it's positive for this one. For this one, it's negative. This just reminds me of the Menace way too much. Just weird proportions with it. I don't like the priming of it. It just seems very finicky at times and not like straightforward. Like it will cock back all the time. Like if I do it at any sort of weird angle or not thoroughly, like right now I'm even struggling, there we go, to try to cock it back every single time. I don't understand that, really. I think that's a very flawed and very not well designed system right there, and that's the main draw that I have to this, as far negatively that I have to this. I think that that's a big flaw of this one, plus the grip size. I mean, obviously with this one, but at least it fired what it could out of this. I would also stay away from this blaster, really. If you're looking for the Hero blasters, not even for an introductory blaster, I get the Covert blaster really over this one. This just seems like a weird, quirky-ish type of blaster. I don't really like this at all. I wouldn't recommend this. If you really need something this small or that, you might as well go with a Jolt for a little bit more money with it. So that's my opinions on these two blasters.